There's a reason why people long for sleep. I was always that type of person. I just cherished the ability I had to rest and not worry about anything at a specific time each day. I never took the power of a good night's rest for granted, because I needed it. Sometimes I would work myself to the bone, just so I could sleep for so much longer, and so much easier. I never had any issues while sleeping as well, in comparison to my friends. I would always get told how lucky I was to be able to enjoy sleep that much, as my friends always had issues with sleepwalking and stuff like that. One friend, let's call him Cameron, made me aware of how dangerous these situations could be, which I was educated on while sitting with him in hospital, after he almost got run over by a car during one of his nighttime escapades. I counted myself lucky, as I knew that I didn't have to worry about anything like that. However, I knew that there were other issues out there. I just didn't know which would come into my life first. I just got home from work, and a huge wave of tiredness had overcome me. I think the peace and comfort that radiated from my home helped me become tired after a long day of work. In a weird way, this made me glad, because I was now able to have the best sleep a person could ask for, which was always something I really liked. I don't want to sound cynical, but I love to sleep, and found it really hard to get up in the morning, although I didn't have any issues with motivation or anything like that. I guess I just wanted to relive the experience of a well-deserved rest. That's something I'm still not sure of. I did my usual routine upon getting in, made dinner, and just tried to unwind. Fairly simple, I know. I watched TV for a good amount of time before falling asleep, and was perusing through the channels before I realised how late it had gone. It was around midnight. It shouldn't sound too late, but I did have work the next morning, and was keen to get an early start. I began to get ready to sleep, and closed the window in my bedroom. My bed was right next to the window, and I didn't want a draft to disturb me. I woke up in the middle of the night, which was completely unheard of for me. I always slept so well, and tonight I was way more tired than usual, so I expected to be out cold. However, when I woke up, I just felt really cold, and the frigid air started to circulate around me. I looked to my left, and saw that the window was open, which made me nervous, because I made it a point to close it before sleeping, and I remember I did. It was only then, when I tried to move to close it, that I realised I was completely immobilised. I couldn't move at all, and yet I wasn't held down by anything visible. I could move my pupils and blink. That's all I could do. I started to panic, and my breathing increased rapidly. But I stopped cold when I saw something in the corner of my room. It was in the far right corner, furthest away from my bed, and therefore furthest away from the window. It was a complete silhouette, and I couldn't make out any distinct features on its face. It was tall and slender, and hunched over, as if it was the one hiding. I kept my gaze on it, as I was fascinated and completely bewildered by what was happening, and when I blinked, I could have sworn I saw the creature change its position and move slightly towards me. It continued to move forward every time I blinked, and as it did, I saw elements of its face in small increments. First its nose, crooked and bony, then the mouth, which was fixed into a pearly white smile, but one which belonged to an insane person who wanted nothing more than to kill me. And finally, it revealed its eyes. They were open wider than anything I'd seen before, and they were almost popping out of their sockets. They were both bloodshot, and the creature was breathing heavily. At this point, it was on me, and it started to slowly move towards my face. It stared at me directly in the eyes, and while still staring directly at me, it leaned into my left ear and whispered, "Tonight, it's been a long time coming. They won't be so lucky this time." After saying this, the creature let out a maniacal laugh and started repeatedly banging its head against the wall. Black blood poured from its head, and I started to feel slightly more tired again. But then, without warning, I blacked out. I woke up the next morning drenched in sweat, but I could finally move again. I vividly remembered everything that happened that night, but I still tried to tell myself that everything was all in my imagination. However, that's when I found the window was wide open, and there was a black liquid which stained the glass. I panicked and quickly checked my phone, where all I saw was missed calls from my friends and family, saying that Cameron had died after his sleepwalking became an issue and he had fallen multiple times and died of spinal injuries. I then checked the news, the same as I did last night, and to my horror, everything was true. The body was later revealed to have the same black liquid on it that I found on my window, and my mind cast back to the words that the demon had uttered last night. From that day, I've never gotten over the trauma it put me through, and my all-time high appreciation for sleep completely fell apart. And if anything, I became scared of it, and procrastinated it as much as I could. Luckily, I never saw the demon again, but now I'm worried, because if I do ever see it again, I wonder who we'll be talking about next.